Hey y'all, this video is to provide information on buying a home in Jamaica based on our experience. So if you are interested in buying a home in Jamaica, or maybe you're already going through the process of searching for a home, or maybe you just have some questions on how to buy a home in Jamaica, or what are the next steps, this video is for you. Stay tuned. Hey family, welcome back to our channel. I'm Tanya, one half of the Bonics, and in this video I'm going to do a short recap of a previous video that we did. We found a home in Jamaica. You can check that out on our channel. And I realized in doing the video, because we really just did like an impromptu video as we were down by the lake just relaxing, and I realized that some of you might be watching for enjoyment, but some of you might actually be looking for a home in Jamaica and you might have questions. So I really just kind of wanted to provide some information based on our experience, just to help you in your journey of buying a home in Jamaica. So that's what this video is going to be about. So as you guys know, we are looking to buy a house in Jamaica, and the areas that we have been looking in is St. Mary, but closer to the Ochi side, so Tower Isle, Boscobel, if I'm saying that part right, as well as like St. Anne's, so St. Anne's Bay, Runaway Bay, Discovery Bay, Ochi, of course, and preferably closer to Ochi. And then also in St. Catharines, specifically Spanish Town, because that is where Kimar is from. And so another reason we were looking in Spanish Town is because we eventually want to do tours to Jamaica, and we want to give people like the real experience. Every time we go to Jamaica, people always message me and say, I want to go to Jamaica when you go because I want the real experience. And Spanish Town is close to Ochi, is close to Kingston, is close to Portmore, St. Elizabeth, some of those places on that side where we have like a specific interest where we want to focus our tours. So, even though there's a lot of nice, beautiful places in Jamaica, so we're not going to be limited to those areas, but that's what we want to focus on. So as we said, we found a house in Spanish Town, and the house was going for 25 million Jamaican dollars. It was in a really nice gated community. And it was really a learning experience for us. Like, we didn't get the house. We put in a bid. We didn't get the house, but it was really a learning experience because we didn't really know what to expect or what to do going into the process. And so that's why I kind of want to provide like some information for you all that may have questions. So one of the first things that you want to do when you are looking to buy a home in Jamaica is you want to be pre-approved. So you want to get like a pre-approval for the mortgage. And you will do that by going to any one of the banks, or if you have your own bank already. We went to a bank in Jamaica. We actually have an account at NCB, but we went to Victoria Mutual for the pre-approval because when we were looking, they had some of the better rates at the time that we were looking. So we went online, we filled out the application, you submit all of your documents, and really it just took about maybe 2 or 3 days to get a response back saying that we were pre-approved for the mortgage and this is how much we qualify for. So when you submit your application for the pre-approval, you will want to have certain documents. So you'll want to have like your tax transcripts for 2 years. You'll also want to have like 3 months of pay stubs. You'll need your bank statements for up to a year. And if you are self-employed, so as you guys know, Kimar has a truck, so we have our own business. You will need to submit bank statements for 2 years if you're self-employed. You'll also need to submit your credit report as well as your credit score. And the credit score has to be 660 or above. And then you will need to submit all of your information, and then, as I said, if they need more information, they will request that from you. But otherwise, you will receive a response in 2 to 3 days. So it's a really quick process to get the pre-approval. And in the pre-approval, you will get the pre-qualification letter that you need to take whenever you find a home or a property that you are interested in. The next thing that I want to go over is that you can buy a house in U.S. or Jamaican dollars in Jamaica. We actually got a pre-approval in Jamaican dollars because the U.S. dollar fluctuates. So whatever the price is in Jamaican dollars, it's going to fluctuate a little bit in U.S. dollars. So for example, the home that we looked at was 25 million Jamaican dollars. But if you checked it daily, like on a daily basis, you will see it'll have like the rates for a US dollar, Canadian dollar, and so forth. But the US dollar would actually change depending on what the rate is for that day. So today it might be 159,000 and some change. Tomorrow it might be 160 or 161 and some change. So but you can buy a home in U.S. or Jamaican dollars. And as I said, we got a pre-approval in Jamaican dollars because that rate is going to stay the same. And we put a bid in Jamaican dollars as well. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. But in order to buy a property in Jamaican dollars, you will need a TRN number. So a TRN number is like a social security number in the United States. So there's no cost for it. It's free. You can simply apply for it. So if you're in Jamaica, you can go to the tax office and apply for the TRN number. And just keep in mind that everything in Jamaica is slow. Let me say it again. Everything in Jamaica is slow. So when I went to apply for my TRN number, my wonderful and lovely mother-in-law, who I love so much, she actually got up early and got in line and got a number for me to get my TRN number. And she called me and said, be down here by this time, before they open, and I have your number for you already. Bless her heart. When I tell y'all I love my mother-in-law, OMG. She's the best. She's my friend. She's my mother-in-law. She's my confidant. Okay, that's a whole nother video. But yeah, so you can apply for a TRN number. You can also go online and get the application, download the application or the form and fill it out. And then you can mail it in along with the appropriate documents, which is typically a notarized copy of your ID, and then you can send that in, and then they'll mail you a TRN number. So once you apply, so for instance, if you're in Jamaica and you go and apply, you get the number back that same day. So, while you're there at the office, it's just a process to apply, and I guess they have to submit it to the office, to the tax office, or wherever they submit it to get the number back. And then they'll give you a paper that says this is your TRN number, and then you'll get a card as well, kind of like a social security card. So pretty much the same process. And I also want to point out that anybody can apply for a TRN number. So you do not have to be a Jamaican citizen to apply for a TRN number. But basically it's for if you want to do any type of business in Jamaica. So if you want to buy a home in Jamaica, in Jamaican dollars, well, I think if you want to buy a home in Jamaica, period, you'll need a TRN number. But yes, so you can apply and get your TRN number, and then you can buy a home in Jamaican dollars. The next thing I want to talk about is the deposit. So when you are looking to buy a home in Jamaica, you will need to have 10% cash to put down for the deposit. So what that means is the bank is typically going to finance 90% of the home. So there are some banks that will do like 100% financing. And so once you put your 10% deposit down and you go through the process of applying for the actual mortgage, once you find a home and your offer is accepted, some banks will do 100% financing. So in that case, they will then give you the 10% deposit back. So you do want to have 10% cash deposit, and then you also need money to cover the closing costs, the attorney fees, and the valuation. So it's not cheap to buy a house in Jamaica. First of all, the houses are expensive, and then you still got to have like some cash on hand. So if you're buying a house in cash, then you pretty much have to get like a letter from your bank saying that you have the funds in your account to pay for this house in cash, and that those funds are held or set aside for you to buy the house. So you do want to make sure that you have your funds lined up, because it is expensive to buy a house in Jamaica, and you will need some cash on hand. So let's talk about the valuation. So the valuation is basically saying this property is worth this amount compared to like other properties or homes in the area. And typically the bank is only going to finance 90% of whatever the valuation comes to. So what that means is that you are going to be responsible for the difference. So I'm going to use the home that we looked at and put a bid in for as an example. As you guys know, that home was 25 million Jamaican dollars. That's what they were selling the home for. And I'm going to switch it over to the equivalent in US dollars. Even though the US dollar can fluctuate, it'll be a little bit easier to understand. So the equivalent to 25 million Jamaican dollars is roughly 160,000 US dollars. So you put your 10% cash deposit down. That's going to be $16,000 in cash, right? So the mortgage company is going to finance 90% of the mortgage. So basically they're saying we're going to give you $144,000 and you're going to put down $16,000 cash deposit, and that's going to equal the purchase price of the home. Now, if the valuation comes back and say, well, this home is only worth $150,000, now you have to come up with that difference. So just to kind of explain it further, if the valuation comes and says, okay, this property is only worth $150,000, the bank is only going to finance 90% of the $150,000. So that means that you are going to have to come up with an additional $9,000, because now the difference between the purchase price and the valuation is going to be $25,000. So let me explain it again. The purchase price is $160,000. Let's just say they accepted the offer at $25 million. That's what they were selling it for. That's what you put a bid in for. They accepted that. So the house is now selling for $160,000. You have to come up with 10% cash deposit. That's going to be $16,000. The valuation says this property is only worth $150,000. So the bank is only going to finance 90% of the $150,000. So now the bank is only going to finance $135,000. So that means that between the purchase price of $160,000 and the amount that the bank is going to actually give you, which is $135,000, the balance or the difference is going to be $25,000. So that's going to include your $16,000 for your 10% cash down payment, plus the difference of $9,000 between, the valuation and the purchase price. So, as I said, it's not cheap to buy a house in Jamaica. You will have to have like some cash on hand. You don't really need a real estate agent. Basically, you can, search properties, and once you find something that you like, you can put in an offer for it. So you don't really need a real estate agent. I've been looking online, and I have a couple of friends who are also looking for homes in Jamaica, and one of them did contact a real estate agent, but basically the real estate agent showed her properties that she had already found online. So, some people say like the advantage of having a real estate agent is that they can see properties when they first go on the market, or, they may be able to see properties that you can't see online. But as I said, one of my friends did contact a real estate agent, and that person showed her properties that she had already searched for and found online. So you don't really need a real estate agent. I think it is something like a DIY, something you can do yourself. You search for your property. Once you find something you like, put a bid in on it. And, make sure you have your funds together. It's simple. One of the things that I also wanted to point out is that properties in Jamaica are hot, like hot, hot, hot right now. Um, Even though, people say like, oh, Jamaica is dangerous. There's a lot of crime, a lot of killings, bad mind people, especially if you are like from another country or you're an expat. Um, you know, it's dangerous. Like all of that is true, but those things can happen anywhere. So, properties are still selling like hotcakes in Jamaica. People are buying up properties, especially if it is a prime piece of property. So, if you find a home in a nice area, or a decent area, has, maybe some nice views, sea views or mountain views, or if it's in a gated community, if there's some amenities, property is selling and it's not cheap. You know, it's not cheap at all. So properties in Jamaica are hot right now. It's a seller's market, same way it is here in the States. So properties are not staying on the market long. It goes up one day and the next day or next few days, it might be under offer. So you got to be checking diligently and you got to be ready to move when you see something. So that's one thing that we're learning. Like when we find something, we got to jump on it, if it's something that we're really interested in. And then the prices of the property in Jamaica, like the prices are inflating rapidly. So, like, if you all are familiar with like Ocho Rios and a community called Drax Hall or Richmond Estates, those houses, a couple of years ago, you could buy any one of those houses for, and I'm just using this as an example, for like 150,000 US dollars. Those houses now are going for 250,000 or more. So that's just to give you an idea. Like, but of course, when you buy a house, that's an asset. So that's really an investment, and the house is going to appreciate in value. So that's something that you want. But for us who are looking and looking for those same prices, we're not going to find it. So that's why, I'm always saying like, oh, the houses are expensive, and you kind of hear me talking about like the money aspect of it, like, oh, I don't want to tie all of my money up. But one thing that we're learning is we're going to have to be a little bit more realistic about what we're going to spend on a house in Jamaica. We still have to be mindful of, our money and, how we handle our finances. But I think we're going to have to be a little bit more realistic, especially if we're looking to buy something around the Ocho Rios area. We're going to have to maybe spend a little bit more. I wanted to personally stay under like $200,000, but it's looking like that's going to be less likely. And I'm willing to go over that for the right options, meaning like, the amenities or what I'm interested in, as well as, the location. So, for instance, we really liked Happy Cove. We really liked Happy Cove, but those were sold out. So our next choice would have been Gates of Edge Hill. But to get to Gates of Edge Hill, you have to go up through the community to get there. And of course, the visual aspects of the ride through the community, and then, the roads are, the homes are expensive. Pretty much, to just sum it up, the homes are expensive for you to have to ride up through the community. And then when you get to the community, the homes are like, I don't want to pay $300,000 for a house and I'm sitting in my backyard looking at you in your yard, and you can put a fence up, but you're bound to the rules of, they don't really call them like homeowners associations in Jamaica, but it's similar to like a homeowners association here in the States. They have guidelines, that you have to follow. So the wall can maybe be this type of wall or this high or, whatever. And so that's going to be an additional cost as well. And then the homes in Edge Hill did not have like a separate or full space for a dining room. And that may not be like a big deal to some people, but to me, I want to be able to have somewhere to sit and have dinner. You know, like when my family, when we come to Jamaica and we spend time with Kimar's family, like we sit around the dinner table and we have dinner together. So that's very important. Like even me and Kimar at home, when we have dinner, we sit at the table together and have dinner. So I don't just want like a little bar area where you can put some bar stools. I want a space where I can actually put a table. So that was something that was important to me as well. And so those homes didn't offer that. So I don't know, you know, maybe we'll have to make some compromises somewhere along the line, but you know, some things we're firm on like what we want. And then another reason why, you know, you guys might hear me saying like, oh, I don't want to tie up all of our money is because we're also going through the same process here in the States. Like we want to buy another home here in the States. And so, you know, we have to account for that money as well and being able to qualify for a mortgage here as well as a mortgage in Jamaica. So yeah, we're looking to buy a home here in the States as well. Like the house that we live in, it's a decent sized house, but the space isn't there. So we need more closet space, a bigger kitchen and more cabinet space in the kitchen, you know, storage space, maybe in the garage or outside, you know, just where you can store things that, you know, extra things that you might have. So that's something that we're looking at. And we really want to buy like some land and build our own house. I'm not really like, I don't really, you know, like the homeowner associations. Like they're good, you know, in terms of regulating things in the community, but I really don't want to be bound to like the rules of a homeowners association. And plus, you know, we want a little bit of land. Like now the homes that they're building are so close together. So if the house next door catches on fire, you can rest assured your house is going to burn as well. So I say that jokingly, but it's true. So yeah, we really want to buy like some land and build our own house, like a custom built house. So that's something that we're keeping in mind as well. You know, that we have to be able to buy a home over here as well as a home in Jamaica. But we're confident that we're going to find what we're looking for in Jamaica. And you know, we just have to just keep pressing forward. And as I said, you know, make sure that you have your funds together and just keep looking, be diligent in your search. And when you find what you're looking for, God is going to bless you. God is going to bless you with the desires of your heart. We will find what we're looking for. And those of you who are out there searching, you're going to find what you're looking for. So I hope this video was, you know, very informational for you. And I hope that there was some nuggets that you can take away from it. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, drop a comment below, tell a friend to tell a friend. So share the video and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.